Hello, good evening. Thank you for staying loyal to Rwanda television programs. You're watching RTV News Live. We'll begin with the headlines. On Saturday at Urugwiro Village, President Paul Kagame received Lord Popat, UK trade envoy, to discuss trade and investment opportunities between Rwanda and the United Kingdom. The Minister of Youth urged the youth to consider participating in voluntary activities as one of the ways of curbing the effects of climate change. The latest figures from the Ministry in charge of emergency management have shown that those known to have been killed by the natural disasters of the 2nd and 3rd of this month of May are 135. Glad to have your company tonight. My name is Olive Nete. Let's begin our edition by informing you that on Saturday at Urugwiro Village, President Paul Kagame received Lord Popat, UK trade envoy, to discuss trade and investment opportunities between Rwanda and the United Kingdom. In other matters, the Minister of Youth urged the youth to consider participating in voluntary activities as one of the ways of curbing the effects of climate change. Prince Manzi has more.
The house being renovated is of Retro Nauryonga's family, affected by the disasters, and only 2 children survived. Citizens appreciate the youth who contributed in this project. We are happy that they joined us in construction of houses of the vulnerable affected by the disasters. We are happy for these youth. We are happy for these youth's support and efforts. The youth participated came from various districts: Huye, Bugesera, Nyamagabe, Gakenke, Karongi, Rutsiro, Ruhango, Rubavu, and the city of Kigali. This youth's culture of patriotism and generating all solutions to the issues hindering the citizens is a lesson learned as explained by the mayor of Musanze district, Rwamuri Janvier. These youth came from across the country on their expenses, and this is a lesson from these youth that they are the strength of the country and have to support where needed. 400 houses are recorded to have been destroyed in Musanze district. The government of Rwanda continues to support the affected in various basic needs. Prince Manzi, RTV News.
Now, more than 100 youth from various districts across the country started the project of constructing shelters for vulnerable families damaged by the recent floods and landslides in Musanze district. Prince Manzi again.
On Saturday, in a special Muganda walk, various youth and prisoners cleaned classrooms of Petit Seminaire de Nyundo, a school that is currently not in use ever since the floods and landslides that roughly affected it on the night of 2nd and early morning, the 3rd May. Nevertheless, obviously, this Muganda work and other cleaning activities generates hope that next week this school will be operating. We came here for Muganda, and soon students will come back to school.
In the beginning, the place was very bad. It was not easy to find where to step, but now it is different. There is hope.
The Minister of Youth, Dr. Abdallah Tumatwishima, who joined these youth in this special Muganda work, urged the youth to consider participating in voluntary activities, as in such times their contribution is needed. When such disasters hit, it is necessary that the youth will take the first step for finding solutions in terms of providing efforts and also ideas. We want the youth who are committed. Students from Petit Seminaire de Nyundo were relocated temporarily in the Rubavu city, whereas other schools were affected as well. Students managed to return back in classes sooner. Prince Manzi, RTV News.
Now, some of the Kigali city residents being relocated from high-risk zones say that it is in their benefit to relocate, but request for support in this process. Take a look.
In some parts of the Kigali city, citizens are being relocated from high-risk zones. Some of these citizens agree that it is a life-saving decision, but request to be given the funds allocated to them for support.
If they find it to be a risky zone,
We cannot complain, but my request to the government is that they should provide what they promised to us, and that will make us happy.
I took it positively because we are also aware of the effects of the disasters, but the government consideration has to be aligned. For these areas where people are being relocated from, in Kigali City specifically, the Kigali City administration demonstrates that the properties remain the citizens, and whoever willing to renovate their houses in a climate change resilient way, they are agreeing to. The Kigali City administration urges people who are still resisting to relocating to avoid such mentality, as explained by Solange Muhirwa, the chief of urban planning at City of Kigali.
Ubundi nk'abantu bari begereye uriya mugezi wa Sebeya abenshi bavuga ko nabo bahabaye kuva kera pe.
Actually, those that lived across the Sebeya River used to say that they lived there for a long time, but they were affected by the recent disasters. We are living a climate-changing season. We want to prevent loss of lives and properties as measurements are in place.
Citizens in high-risk zones are being urged to relocate. The City of Kigali established various sites that people can relocate to. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Prince, for that report. Now, the latest figures from the ministry in charge of emergency management have shown that those known to have been killed by the natural disasters of the 2nd and the 3rd of this month of May, 135 people. 110 injuries were reported and 97 have since recovered, and 13 remain in the hospital. One person remains missing due to the disasters. Up to 5,963 homes are known to have been destroyed by the floods and landslides. 2,326 were displaced and are being accommodated at 83 temporary sites, and the Ministry in charge of emergency and management is working with the relevant authorities to assist those in need, and up to 426 tons of food have so far been distributed. Now, moving ahead, Dr. Frank Habineza, the president of the Democratic Green Party of Rwanda, as decided upon by its members, will represent the party during the presidential election set for next year. Shina Teta has more.
During the Congress of the Green Party of Rwanda, Frank Habineza was re-elected as the president for a term of 5 years and also appointed to represent the party during the presidential elections set for next year. Frank Habineza says that he is well prepared and will continue his political work in case he does not win the elections.
No one can run for 2 elections, which is why we decided to run for president next year. Given I will not run parliamentary elections, but we shall continue to do political works even if we don't win.
He also appreciates the fact that the party has achieved the goals it had set, attributing it to the government that understands what the citizens want.
About 75% of our goals have been achieved. Giving an example of land tax, where we had requested citizens should have full authority over their land, and that is among what we have achieved, because I cannot mention them all and to attribute them to a government that supports its citizens.
Mitigating the effects caused by the occurrence of natural disasters is one of the discussed issues during the Congress of the Democratic Green Party of Rwanda, where members urge that a citizen's role is vital and cooperation between citizens and the government is essential as well.
Here in Karongi district, we cooperate with government during umuganda, planting trees and relocating people that are living in slums, because we should help the government and cooperate to build the Rwanda we want.
We advise citizens to place roofs and build foundations of their houses to avoid any leakages due to heavy rains that can even destroy their lives. Where I live, I advise citizens to also plant trees. Notably, during the Green Party's Congress, a new list of about 3,976 activists was approved, and the party currently has about 7,000 members. Shina Teta, RTV News.
Thank you, Teta, for that report. Now, the youth members of the centrist Democratic Party say they have committed themselves to the unity of Rwandans and hard work as contribution towards their development and the country's development as well. Shina Teta continues.
During trainings that took place today, youth members in the centrist Democratic Party were given a discussion about the role played by the youth in the development of Rwanda and how to make good use of the opportunities available. In a discussion delivered by an expert in Rwanda's history, Antoine Mugesera, about Rwanda's history together with the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, the youth say that they learned lessons from the history.
We are one as Rwandans, and we should work together for the development of our country and become job creators so that we are not left behind due to our country's history.
In order to understand more about the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, members of the centrist Democratic Party visited the Genocide Memorial in Gisozi, where they visited different sections of the memorial and laid a wreath on graves of about 250,000 Tutsi that were killed as a sign of honor. Agnes Mukabaranga, the chairperson of the centrist Democratic Party, says that it is the responsibility of the ones alive to know the history of Rwanda and prevent genocide from happening again.
Kumenya amateka yacu habaye jenoside yakorewe abatutsi ariko se mbere yaho byari bimeze biti.
The history is ours and we should know how things were before genocide happened, and we do not want it to happen again. The benefits of the unity we have are better than dragging the country into separation. The centrist Democratic Party is one of the operating political parties in Rwanda with a motto that centers around brotherhood and sisterhood, hard work and justice. Shina Teta, RTV News.
About 100 families of former residents of Nzove in Kinyinya sector in Kigali City commemorated the genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi in 1994. Particularly, many of the Tutsi who resided in this place were killed and thrown in Nyabugogo and Nyabarongo rivers. Members of about 100 families remember their loved ones who were killed during the genocide against the Tutsi in 1994. They say that what hurts the most is the fact that they didn't get the chance to bury their loved ones in honor because they were thrown into the river of Nyabarongo.
What is said particularly in this area is the fact that the families of those who survived the genocide against the Tutsi, before having a river nearby, was actually a benefit to us. But during the genocide, it was not the case because we didn't get the chance to bury most of our loved ones.
Some of those who survived in the area of Nzove appreciate and commend the heroism of the RPF Inkotanyi that saved them.
The Inkotanyi did a great job because they were around here in Jari, but to get to them was very hard. Since there were soldiers from France and also a lot of militia, it was very hard to cross. But we truly thank the Inkotanyi because they chased the killers and managed to save us. Even those who were in marshland were saved.
Denise Nduwawe, the vice president of Ibuka in Nyarugenge, notes that even though victims were killed and thrown in the river, there is need to honor and remember them. We didn't even manage to find some of those who were killed, and that is why we remember those families, so that although we were unable to bury them, at least we can value and honor them. And that is among the responsibilities we have as Ibuka. In the work to remember that was carried out in this area of Nzove, elders took time to explain to the youth the history of the genocide against the Tutsi, the struggle they went through, and all they had to endure. Thank you for staying with us. Bye for now.